Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we bring you Shredder, the Terran player, and Heitakki, the Protoss player. And the casters with me. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Good evening, ladies and gents. This is Silencer.
Silencer and myself, Dogland. Starting on the bottom left-hand corner of the map is the Protoss player, Heitakki.
And top right in the red Terran, we have Shredder.
So, Silencer, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, going from the last game, I believe that we're going to see a close one this time. Hopefully we see a bit more aggro out of the Protoss player in the bottom left.
Absolutely. Actually, out of both of the players. I like the drops from Shredder, but he needs to just do more of them.
Absolutely. Enjoying the builds, enjoying the tactics from the last game. I'd love to see more of the Medivac drops. Hopefully a little bit more calculated, a little bit more watched.
Exactly. They're very entertaining to watch Medivac drops. So standard build, barracks and reactor going down, refinery going down for sure.
Bit of a different build coming out of Heitakki with a gateway opening into a forge.
So it's either cannons again, or upgrades, or air units. He hasn't saturated the refinery, a simulator. So he isn't going too heavy on the gases yet.
Yeah, definitely playing it safe at this point. We see the forge finish up, and immediately from the forge we see a cannon at the top of the ramp.
And if we look at the APM, Shredder very heavy on the APM. Very good APM, but APM is not everything, ladies and gentlemen. It does give you a good guidance, good guide on what the player is doing, but it doesn't paint the full story. Oh, I like the supply depot here, just blocking the ramp for any potential zealots rushing in up here.
As he goes for the second expansion. Back to the Protoss, we see a cybernetics core come out as we see a cannon go down in mineral line.
Protecting the mineral line, he's wary of those drops. Double cannons in the mineral line. That ought to hold off any drops.
Very aware of that Reaper push from last time in the 7-minute mark.
Absolutely. Second gateway goes down. No expansion from Heitakki. Factory going down from Shredder. Shredder's early game seems pretty solid.
Yeah, that's one thing we definitely saw in game 1 of this matchup, Dogland, is Shredder putting down the fast expansion on the Terran side. Very little fast expansion coming out, or any expansion early game coming out from the Protoss player.
If we just look at their army supply, not that great yet. 3 minutes in, they should have a bigger army.
Absolutely, seeing the second gateway finishing up.
Still no second expansion from Heitakki. Meantime, Shredder's second orbital command goes down. He's about to bank serious minerals. Still only one barracks and one factory from Shredder.
You see Heitakki's micro 3 units to the second assimilator as he carries on building stalkers.
I mean, 3 stalkers right now is pretty strong against just 2 marines. If Heitakki goes and attacks right now, it could be game ending.
Absolutely. Absolutely, he'll be able to push up the high ground. Very little support, very little defense on the uphill on the Terran side.
But instead decides to go for a very defensive build, turtling himself into his base. Still one base. He puts down a couple of more gateways.
See the building of the Zealot Council as well, the Twilight Council.
He means
as we have
business.
a 4-gate.
Meantime, Shredder still only on one barracks, still only on one factory. He does have a siege tank out there now. He seems to have forgotten about some SCVs again. The pressure is on.
We see the first armor upgrade for the TOS finishing up, as we continue to wait for our third and fourth gateway to spawn in.
Still no second expansion yet from Heitakki. I mean, he needs to start considering expanding before this mineral line gets depleted.
Absolutely, and he's got a very aggressive build going on at the moment with the finishing up of those warp gateways. Also researching Blink on the Twilight Council.
Oh, excellent. I just absolutely love Blink with Stalkers. It just adds that dynamic to the game.
Absolutely, let's hope he gives himself a chance to micro this game.
So again, both players just sitting back. Shredder got some tanks here, 3 tanks. He's got some idle SCVs all over the place again.
Gonna siege up those tanks next to his turrets.
The problem now is Shredder's put down a whole bunch of towers all over the place. But why has he? He hasn't scouted. He doesn't know what attack he's making. He's obviously suspects he's going Void Rays again.
True, Dogland, as we see from both players' perspective, neither has countered one another. Neither has scouted one another.
Oh.
We're still waiting for a second expansion from Heitakki.
Scouting is so important in Starcraft.
These players at the moment have no idea what the other one is doing.
I mean, they just going in blindly hoping for the best.
We see some starports coming down for one starport, second starport going down for the side of Shredder.
But 13 Stalkers, that is quite a potent army right there.
Absolutely, and as our third observer has just pointed out, we have a supply lead to Shredder. Almost double, in fact. As Shredder, just in his second base, now has a fully saturated second. Oh, it's not fully saturated. He actually only has 1 SCV on the second refinery.
He's loaded up a medivac with double tanks. He has put down a couple of more barracks. Is it enough? Oh, and he's putting down a fusion core.
Excellent.
That means one thing and one thing only. Will battle cruisers be able to hold off this many Stalkers?
We see Shredder potentially loading up the third medivac as he goes wide out the map to cut down, I'm assuming. Unfortunately, little does he know he will be landing on a mountain of Stalkers.
He needs to scout. I mean, he has a bunch of orbital scans. He just needs to use them. And Heitakki moving down the ramp. Ever so slightly. Are we gonna see an exchange of armies here? I'm afraid 2 tanks and a couple of marines is not gonna cut it. Oh, and look at these Stalkers. Will they spot the medivacs?
He has left 3 back in his main.
Oh, this
not
is
enough
interesting.
to defend.
If Shredder lands in the base now, I'm sure Heitakki's gonna pull those Stalkers.
Going straight for the supply line. Dropping on the supply line.
And
Sieging up.
Heitakki pulls his Stalkers. He needs to attack.
Not pulling Stalkers, going for the
Oh,
natural.
he's decided to commence. No, he's just paused the army right there, midway.
Heitakki needing to micro his main army at the moment as his base is being absolutely torn apart by these siege tanks. This may just be game.
Yes, but he is moving his army forward. What does Shredder have back at base to hold this off? I mean, that could hold us off, absolutely. But Shredder isn't aware of this. Okay, he doesn't have time to repair the bunker. He pulls his marines. He needs to pull the marines further back into the siege tank line.
Oh, the Stalker's getting bottled off, being absolutely mowed down by the Marines and the one siege tank in the back, and there goes all of his Stalkers.
Good hold here from Shredder. Meantime, Shredder moves his tanks forward just to take out the rest of the base, and I believe that is a GG to Shredder.
Brilliant player by Shredder. We're seeing that same tactic coming out. Exactly what I was looking for.
Absolutely.
As Heitakki holds on for dear life with...
That's a GG.
Well done.